Welcome again. After completing our assumptions up here and doing some adjustment to our Excel, we're now going to do the forecasting. We're going to start with our income statement, the revenue part. To get the revenue, we are going to multiply the number of stores times the square feet per store times the sales per square foot. And remember, this is sales per year, so we're going to divide it by number of periods in a year. Then, because every value here is in thousands, we're going to divide it by 1000 to get our correct values here. So we're just going to fill this right, and we're going to get our values for the revenue. Then, to get the gross profit, we're just going to use our gross margins, which we calculated earlier up here. The gross margins is here. The gross margin is here. So we're going to multiply that by revenue. Then also the difference here, to get the cost of goods sold, is going to be the difference between gross profit and revenue. Then we can just fill this right to get those values. Then we have the selling, general and administrative expenses. That one, we are told that in the next 12 months it will be 9,500,000. So we're just going to fill that right, and kaboom, we are going to get that. Then now to get the EBITDA is the difference between gross profit and SG&A. We're just going to get the sum of these two. Then if we fill that right, we're going to get that. So and the line of depreciation, we are told up here that depreciation is at the rate of 10% each year. So, and what is it? 10% of what? We're going to look that down here from our supporting schedules, and this is where we get now the PP&E at the end of the year. So from here we understand that these are the values of the property, plant and equipment at the end of the year. Then we have the capital expenditure for that particular month, not at the end of the year but at the end of the month. So for us to get the forecast for the PP&E at the beginning of the month, we're just going to equate this the end of the month of December. We get that value, then we fill right, then we get that one is 0 because these are still zeros. We are going to calculate those. So the capital expenditure, to get the capital expenditure for that month, what we are going to do, we are going to look for the new store, if they built any new store. The number of new stores was that. We multiply by the square feet per store. Then we multiply that by the total cost to be for building a store. And remember, these values were in thousands, so we get that to be 0. If we fill that right, we are going to get the expenditure. You can see there were some stores which were built along the month. So to get the PP&E at the end of the month, we're simply going to add that. So when we fill this right, everything else is going to fill in place. So those are our PP&E gross cost. So We also have here, we can now calculate the accumulated the depreciation each month. The depreciation is 10% of that, and multiply by 10 here. Then because that one is in a year, we divide it with the period number of periods in a year, which is that. So we are able to get that. We can fill that right, then kaboom. So those are the depreciation values. So we can come back here and fill our depreciation values. Where are they? You take that, then we fill right, and kaboom, we are able to get our depreciation. So if we can now calculate the earnings before interest and taxes, which is going to be at the sum of these two, and we are able to get that. Fill right, and those are the EBIT each month for the next 12 months. Then we have now the interest. We are told from above here we have interest to be 5.75 per month, but we are not told of what. So we can get that information down here from the supporting schedules. We have now the dates. The date is here. Okay, the repayments we were given up here. The repayments is that, so we can simply fill that right and get the repayment for each month. Then issuance, did they issue any debt? When we come up here, equity raised, they did not issue anything, so we just pick that value. We pick it, we create it down here. Did they issue any shares? No, they didn't. We get that value from here. So we simply fill that right, see whether there is some period where they issue some debt, some shares. No. Then the closing balance for the last month is the opening balance for this month, so this one is going to be equal to that, and we simply fill that right now to get that. Then what we're going to do is that this debt is decreasing because they are making some repayments, so this one is going to be equal to this minus this. Okay, so if we fill that right, Excel is going to help us to calculate. So those are the closing balance for the debt. Then what we are going to do, we are going to look for the interest. Interest paid should be the average of this and that. Then we multiply by the interest rate, which is this one here for the month of January. Because this one is per year, we divide it with the number of periods in a year, so we get that. So basically that is going to be our interest. We fill that right, kaboom. Then we can now come back to our income statement and say that our interest is that. So we can simply fill that right and get the projection of interest for the next 12 months. And now we can also calculate the income before taxes, which is the sum, of this. Then we can simply fill that right and get the correct values. Then we also have here taxes, tax rate, is we have effective tax rate, it's just going to be that divided by the number of periods. No, tax rate times times the income before taxes. We multiply that, we get that. Then we simply fill that right and we are good to go. So basically this one is supposed to be negative, so we negate it, and there we are. Now we can calculate the net income. The net income is going to be the sum of the two, and kaboom, that is our net income. So from there, let's complete this. Were there dividends which were paid? We can come back to our assumption area, and we can see that there were no dividends paid the month of January. So can we see if there are some dividends which were paid? There we go, and there was no dividend which was paid. Thank you very much for listening, and I welcome you to the next episode where we are going now to do the balance sheet. We are going to forecast the balance sheet. Thank you.